Hey everyone, it's Jessica with Simplified Homeschool, and in this video I'm going to go over the methods of homeschooling. So there's a lot of different methods, but I'm going to go over the main few methods that there are and just give you some information on them and some places on the internet where you can learn more about them. Alright, so this is part of my How to Homeschool series, and this is video number 4 in the series. So the first video was about why choose homeschooling, the second video was encouragement for moms, where I go over doubts, and the third video was about, what are the first steps to homeschooling? So after you've been through those first steps, such as figuring out the laws, stuff like that, your next thing you're going to do is you're going to start to figure out how you want to structure your school and what you want to teach and how you want to teach. And the first step to that is thinking about the different homeschool methods and figuring out which method you like, which method you lean towards the best, which method you think your child would do the best with, and then you can go from there. Okay, so in the next video I will talk about learning styles for your children, and then after that you can put the learning style together, the method that you like together, and then you can look at which curriculum you want to get and where you want to start. So I want to start with unschooling. Okay, if you've done much research on homeschool, you've probably heard of unschooling, but that might just sound crazy to you if you don't know anything about it. But what unschooling really is it's delight-directed learning is another word for it. So basically you're following your children's instinct with learning. Rather than you telling them what they're going to learn and when, they sort of tell you what they want to learn and when, and then you just facilitate it and make sure that learning is happening in some way. And it can happen when they want and how they want. And you can get, unschooling is certainly on a scale, you know, like I incorporate a lot of unschooling into what I do with our children, but I definitely wouldn't say that we are unschoolers because we follow a curriculum. But if my daughter gets interested in something, we kind of put the curriculum aside and we delve deeper into that. If she's not interested in something or just not getting it, I will come back to it later when she is. So I do kind of follow my children's cues a little bit, but we're not 100% unschoolers. I really am drawn towards unschooling, so at some point I may be. But unschooling is just basically following your child's lead, okay? There's a lot of great information out there on unschooling. I'm going to do a video about teaching things when your child is ready, and in that video I'm going to talk about just how you could actually unschool and teach reading and teach math. A lot of people wonder about that. But when your child's ready to learn something, and when they need a certain skill for something, or when they're interested in something, they will learn it, and then of course they will retain it better because it's useful information to them. So that's what unschooling is all about. And you can go to naturalchild.org, and that's a great website to learn about unschooling. You could also, if you want to read a book, Teach Your Own by John Holt. John Holt is like, I don't know if he's the founder of unschooling, but you know, that's a really great resource to go to. And the unschooling method is just very natural and it's very relaxed. So if you have that type of personality or that type of philosophy towards school, that you want school to be interesting to your child, you want it to be fun, you want it to be natural, relaxed, and you want them to sort of be in control of what they learn, then unschooling might be something you want to check out a little bit more. All right. The next style that I want to go over, or method, is the Charlotte Mason method. Now, I personally have not read any books on Charlotte Mason, so I don't know a whole lot about it, but I will tell you what I do know about it, and I will tell you that you can go to simplycharlottemason.com and learn more about it, and there's also a book titled the exact same thing, Simply Charlotte Mason, that you can read to learn more about it. So I'll tell you a few of the basics just so you can kind of decide if that's something you want to look deeper into. Charlotte Mason uses living books. So living books are like for science, for example, and this is definitely what we do in Sunlight. So I certainly like a lot of the concepts of Charlotte Mason, and I need to do some more research on it myself. But living books is where, instead of doing like a textbook for science, you might read about, if you're studying ancient Egypt like we did this year, we read a book about King Tut's tomb. So we learned a little bit about the Egyptians and their culture and everything through a book about King Tut's tomb. So that's a living book rather than a textbook. Or in history, you might read a biography of someone from an era that you're learning about, okay? Those are just examples of living books. So those things make this the subject that you're learning much more meaningful, and they give it, context, and it's just a richness to learning that's just really great. It's like a literature-based approach. Okay, and then another couple of things about Charlotte Mason is short lessons. So we're doing this year where we have a timer. So like for math, she's going to put the timer on 30 minutes. When 30 minutes is up, we're done with math, no matter if she's got problems left, no matter if we haven't been through all the material, whatever. So shorter lessons to keep the children interested and moving on to something different. Varying what you're going to be doing, like sit down and then doing something else where they might do creative writing, doing something else where they're reading. Nature studies is another big thing with Charlotte Mason. We don't do a lot of that, so I don't know too much about that, but that's definitely something, if you're interested in, that you should look into more. Okay, so that's Charlotte Mason. The next style that I want to talk about is the traditional style. Okay, so traditional is just that. It's traditional. It's how public schools teach. It's structured. If that's something that you like, you might want to lean towards that. There's going to be like a scope and sequence, and you stick to that schedule, and children are going to learn in a systematic way, and each concept builds on another. Learning through textbooks, learning through workbooks, flashcards, things like that. Some places that, or curriculums that you might like if traditional is your type of method, would be like the ABECA, that's ABEKA, ABECA. Bob Jones University also, okay? So look into those, or if you like the traditional style. All right. Then there's the classical method of learning. If you do like classical, there is a great group called Classical Conversations where you actually join up with other homeschool families. I think once a week. I looked into doing this, but we haven't done it ourselves. So yeah, I think once a week, or it might depend on the group itself, but Classical Conversations, look that up if you like classical. But classical is basically, it's based on like the Greek and Romans, kind of their educational philosophy of the trivium, which is the 3 stages of learning. So your child first, when they're younger, they're in the grammar stage, and then they move on to the logic stage when they're older, and then like in the teen years, it's like the rhetoric stage, okay? And you kind of go through a cycle, and you learn everything in the grammar stage, and then you go through that same cycle and you learn it again in the logic stage, and then you learn it again in the rhetoric stage. But of course, in each stage, you're learning different things about it and in different ways, okay? So if you're interested in the classical way of teaching your children, you can look at a book called The Well-Trained Mind, A Guide to Classical Education at Home by Susan Wise and Jessie Wise. Okay, and you can also go to welltrainedmind.com, or like I said, you can look up Classical Conversations. Their website has a lot of information about the classical method as well. All right. And then the last method that I'm going to talk about is unit studies, okay? So unit studies, I would say, would be a great method for younger children. I don't know if you could use just that for older children, but you could certainly incorporate that into your other methods, okay? So unit studies is basically, you're going to pick a theme, and then you base all of your subjects around that theme. So for, just as an example, for pre-K, your theme might be ocean, and you would do an art project with it, and then you might do the letter O for ocean, and then you would do something geography-wise and show the oceans around the world, and then you would do some science projects and experiments that have to do with the ocean, and basically you might do some math about the ocean. I don't know exactly what, but anyways, you base all of your subjects around that one theme, and you delve really deeply into that topic, okay, while you're learning and incorporating all the other subjects with it. All right, so for unit studies, I don't have a specific book that I know of or website, but I do know that I have done a lot of unit studies with my children that I found off of Pinterest. So if you just go on Pinterest and you type in unit studies and then whatever topic you want to learn more about, that is a great place to find tons of unit studies and ideas. There's lots of people out there that have done a great job at coming up with them. All right, and then I know I said that was the last method, but really there's one more, and that would be eclectic, which is what I am and what a lot of people are, I'm sure, is that you take points from a couple of the ones that you like, and you kind of mesh them together. So for us, I think we're like a little bit unschooling, a little bit Charlotte Mason, a little bit unit study. I kind of mix all those together. As I've said before in a different post, we do sunlight, so we use a lot of living books. I like some of the other concepts from Charlotte Mason. I also really like unschooling methods, so whenever I can incorporate that, I do. And then a lot of times we do unit studies as well, and sometimes I'll do those with the younger children or maybe during the summer. And so yeah, we're eclectic homeschoolers. So eclectic is just mixing and matching and making it your own, which is the great thing about homeschool. You don't have to stay within a certain box. You can go outside of that box and you can do whatever works for you and your children. So if you guys have any questions about those methods, or if you have other methods that you know that you want to let me know about or want me to do a video on, just let me know. And the next video in this series is going to be about learning styles, okay? So after you've decided on the method that you most likely want to go towards, then we'll look into learning styles of your children, and that'll help you decide on a good curriculum for you. Okay, so stay tuned and watch the next video, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.